Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation reads like this. Hello, how are you, Brother Nash? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am here as a family. We are trying to do a fundraiser so that we can be able to go and pay back the money that we owe, even though we never knew about this Mozambican traditional healer. We only started knowing about him. This was after he had passed away. That was when we knew that our brother, he had made a covenant with a traditional healer, and this traditional healer had given him a lucky charm oil that was able to assist him in his business dealings that he had there in South Africa. Even ended up getting married to a South African woman, and he did not check us. He used to send us some money here and there, but he was busy with his South African wife. Now everything has been dumped at our doorstep. Now we are the ones that are owing this money. Where can we get this money? It is quite a lot. We cannot afford 32,000 US dollars that the Mozambican traditional healer is demanding. On the day that we buried our brother, that was when we received a letter that came with this other man whom we suspected to be a ritualist as well, because he never got out of his car. He was driving a very beautiful Ford Raptor that he had, but he's a Zimbabwean man. How he got to find our village, we really did not even know, but he told us that he had been sent by someone that is very important, his traditional healer, and he was looking for Kelvin's mother. And then we told him that Kelvin's mother had passed away, and then he said he was looking for someone that was the eldest in the family. So one of my father's brothers stepped up, because my father himself is a man that is not okay, like he is starting to develop symptoms, like he is someone that is suffering from Alzheimer's disease because he forgets some things. So my father's brother went and took that letter. We then sat down as a family and we read the letter, and the letter, it was a letter of demand, and it was from that so-called traditional healer. It was brief, and that man told us the things that some of my brother had already told us, because when he returned back from South Africa after staying there for quite a long time, he was no longer okay. He was sick. He was depressed because his South African wife had taken almost everything from him. So my brother, whom I'll call Kelvin, he left Zim. It was in the year 2014 for South Africa. He was young, and he said he kept on complaining that he was tired of working as an illegal gold miner, and he was like, it is not working at all. Let me try to go to South Africa. I can make money. I know within a couple of months I'll be back. And we believed him. We even prayed for him. At that time, my mom was still alive. We only sold our only cow that our parents had for his bus fare, because my brother, he even lied to us that he wanted money for a passport, and he never applied for that passport. Kelvin never used that money that we had given him to go to Harare to apply for a passport so that he can be able to go to South Africa safely. He told us later on that the passport, he did not want the passport, for he had already communicated with some other guys. He kept on saying that he met guys in Beitbridge whom he said connections. There were Zimbabweans as well as a Mozambican man who used to move people illegally across the border. So they smuggled him, and the Mozambican man was the one who gave him a connection in Joburg, and there in Johannesburg he even returned back with that bottle. It has since disappeared. They gave him what they called mafuta enyoka. You know, back in those days, Coca-Cola used to come in those glass bottles. So it was one like that. I'm sure it was 1.25 mils that he brought with, but it was empty. Inside there was something that was black, like the fluid that was in there. It was black in color, and that was what he called mafuta enyoka, like that was the charms that he was using. He told us later on that when they crossed into South Africa, he did not even need an asylum or anything. He was just using those charms to walk past soldiers' home affairs. Even if they used to have raids there, they would never see him when he was in his shack. They would just walk past. He used to say, I would vanish right in front of them. So as a man that was sick, it sounded maybe like it was a joke. He was someone that was trying to comfort himself because of the things that his wife had done to him, because he started sending us money, small amounts at first. Sometimes he would send 200, 500. Then he came back once with big money. It was 3K. And he told us that in South Africa, him and his wife, they were running a shop, a spaza shop, as well as a restaurant. He even started his own small courier business between Johannesburg and Musina. He was married to the South African woman Sipesihle, and told us that he was very happy and he was changing. He started avoiding us. Whenever we would speak with him, he would be quick to ask us how much we wanted. He avoided returning back to Zim for funerals, and when he would come back and we grew up going to the White Garment Church, he would refuse to go with us to the White Garment Church, but he would not plainly deny. He will just act as if he is very tired, and we will just go and leave him behind. Our brother then stopped communicating with us for 2 good years. No calls, no visits. We thought that he was dead, until one day when we were told that he was very sick. It was one of our cousin who was working in Vereeniging, and he called us and told us that Kelvin was not okay at all. He was seen in this other location. He had been chased out by his own wife, and by the time that he returned back, our brother was not okay at all. That was when he told us that when he had been given the lucky oil that he revealed to us, he had been told that he was going to make it big in South Africa, and indeed he had made it big. So he started to use the documents that belonged to his wife, since his own ID, it was fake, it was not original. So after they had made money, things started to go bad, and then the wife kicked him out, and then he returned back home like he was really sick. Even by the time when we got into contact with a traditional healer, we already knew that our brother, the oil, the lucky oil that had been given to him, that oil, it was more like a trap. So this traditional healer right now is saying that we are supposed to go to Tete in Mozambique, and we have to speak with him for the oil that was inside that bottle that he brought with him from South Africa. It was the fat of a man that had been murdered, and then they took the fat from him, and that was what he was using as a lucky charm. He was not involved in the murder of that man. It is just that the traditional healer later on realized that this was what had happened. What he thought was fat that had been taken from a snake, it had been taken from a man that had been murdered. Since he had bought everything in bulk, he started selling it to other people, including my brother. So we were like, but you knew that this was what was happening. That man said, you cannot question my authority. You are supposed to come. And he told us that this 32,000 US dollars that he wants, it is not only his money. He also wants us to go with him and plead with the dead man's family so that we can ask for their forgiveness. Everyone, he said, that has used the lucky charm oil that came from that dead man's fat is going to suffer until they return to Mozambique. So things have been happening in the family. My father went blind for 2 days. At our homestead, we no longer have any livestock at all. My young sister, there was one day when she was possessed by that man and she started speaking in Portuguese. I did not even know that something like that could ever happen. I had never heard any Portuguese word in my life until that day. Sometimes there are strange birds that do come and rest on top of our roof, mainly the mud kitchen. They will be just there making a lot of noise. They usually do this from 7 to 8 p.m. Then they will fly away. We need to release my spirit, for we are told by the traditional healer that his spirit is not resting. It has been caught up by the demons and you need to go to his final resting place. So I want your listeners to assist me, to assist our family. We are trying to start a fundraiser so that we can go to Mozambique. When you post my story, please tell me. I will follow through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Can you believe it?